Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Keating, Representative Dean. I think your opening statements have set the context very well. So I'll try to focus my remarks on three elements: how we're caring for the people who were uprooted in September, how we are supporting Armenia, and how we are working toward a peace. And I know Dr. Sokolowski will have much to say on the specifics of our assistance toward all three goals. This is the legacy of Soviet and Russian involvement in the region, and we have to deal with the consequences of good information so that they can make a real choice about their future and know that they have the viable opportunity to return and live well in Nagorno-Karabakh if that's what they choose. I'm encouraged that the UN and ICRC report that they have unimpeded, unrestricted access to Nagorno-Karabakh to verify conditions in the ground, and we're working to be sure that they are able to speak with the refugees inside Armenia so that there's clear and reliable information available to them. So there are two things we're doing. One is we want them to have a viable choice, to have the information and the rights they need to make decisions for themselves. As you mentioned, we have already committed substantial money since September 19th to make this possible. I met on Friday with Prime Minister Pashinyan to discuss other steps that we might take to support the refugees and assist the government of Armenia with helping them in their current situation and with whatever choices they might make. And I know Dr. Sokolowski will have more to say about this. I also want to assure the committee that we are developing, at the Secretary's order, a comprehensive, thorough, and transparent record of what happened, not just on those days, but for the months before. We've commissioned independent investigators. We have our own investigators working in the field. There's information available from international NGOs and other investigators. And as we develop the record of what happened, we will be completely open about what we are finding. I can't put a timeline on this investigation, but we will keep you informed as we go forward. And I'm happy to say more about this. The second thing we are working on is support for Armenia. I've been fortunate to work on issues in Armenia over the last couple of years in my role as the sanctions coordinator at the State Department. I'm very impressed by the government's commitment to reform and to diversifying the relationships that it has, economic, political, energy, and security, particularly in the transatlantic community. And I think we owe it to the people of Armenia to help them through this difficult situation so that those choices they've made very bravely are able to help them have a more secure, stable, and prosperous future. So we're working closely with the European Union on providing an offer of support for Armenia over the next months. When I met with the Prime Minister on Friday, this was the main topic of our conversation, and I think it's critical to a secure, free, and prosperous region that we be supportive of the Armenian people and of the government and the choices that they've made. Third, we are pursuing a peace agreement. The sides have met multiple times. I saw the European Union mediators just this week, spoke with others this morning. They are hosting one of the parties today. The next few weeks will be critical in testing the parties' willingness to go from good intentions to saying yes. Because as we all know, yes is the hardest word to get in a negotiation. So how are we doing that? Well, we are deeply engaged. I think there have been 13 senior-level visits to the capitals, Yerevan and Baku, since September, as well as, and meetings among the parties as well. We're also deeply engaged with our Turkish colleagues as we go forward. We've made clear that nothing will be normal with Azerbaijan after the events of September 19th until we see progress on the peace track. So we've canceled a number of high-level visits, condemned the actions, and you mentioned, Representative Keating, the 907 waiver. We don't anticipate submitting a waiver until such time as we see a real improvement in the situation. All of this is to say we continue to urge peace. Now, why would they make peace now and not before? I think you each pointed to a couple of key elements. One of them is the economic benefit of peace. Central Asian countries are looking for new routes to get their goods to market. Those routes can run through Azerbaijan onto Georgia or down through Armenia to Turkey. We've said no use of force is acceptable. A transit corridor built with the involvement and consent of Armenia can be a tremendous boon to states across the region and to global markets who will receive access to these goods. A transit corridor created some other way by force or with involvement of Iran will, I think, be met with a very strong reaction and will not be a success. That's a simple choice. The other piece I think you've all touched on as well, it's the choice of what political relationships these states want to have in the future. A future that is built around an axis of Russia and Iran as the main participants in security in the region, I think is unstable and undesirable, including for both the governments of Azerbaijan and Armenia. They have the opportunity to make a different decision now, and we're clarifying that. And I anticipate we'll have more senior level involvement over the weeks to come.
Thank you,
With
Ambassador
that,
Bryan.
I appreciate the time.